Morning, everyone. We have an exciting program for you today. Our partners at US Bank will be sharing with you the benefits of purchasing business equipment before year end. Did you know there's a tax advantage for purchasing equipment during the fourth quarter or before the year end? Our banking specialist, Eddie Reyes, Vice President, Relationship Managers, and their equipment finance team, Stan Krokowski and Denise Mann, will share some capabilities that US Bank has to assist you. We also have David Mora, Senior Vice President, Business Banking Sales Manager, with us today, and he's on our corporate advisory board. So thank you all for being with us today. We ask that you ask questions in the chat box. They will be addressed at the end of the session. At this point, I'd like to welcome Eddie Reyes, who is the Chamber's banking partner, and we thank him and US Bank. Welcome, Eddie.
Thank you, Olivia. And again, thank you to the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, who have just been wonderful partners over the last several years. And we're always happy to bring these additional resources to its members. So today's webinar is around equipment finance. As we thought about today and all of the US Bank capabilities, our products, our services, it was really an easy choice that equipment finance would be the best topic to share today. The fourth quarter is incredibly busy for us. We do most of our equipment and vehicle financing transactions during the last few months of the year. And what we've found is as we sit down with our customers, is that they're making those decisions now, or more than likely have already made those decisions to purchase equipment. And we'll briefly get into some of the buying trends and incentives of why this happens. So a little about us. US Bank is one of the largest bank-owned leasing companies in the country, with over 40 years of experience in the field. We offer a wide array of financing options with a very streamlined application process. But I think most importantly is that we recognize the importance of long-term customer relationships as we partner with many businesses in a lot of different industries to help them reach their goals through financing their equipment and vehicle purchases. Perfect. So, our goal is really to get through this in about 30 minutes and give you a lot of information you can take away and really leave a lot of ample time for Q&A. But what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce the US Bank Equipment Finance team first, talk a little bit about some equipment purchase trends, touch a little bit about bonus depreciation, Section 179, and then really have some of our bank partners speak to general equipment and some of the things that we finance, and then some industry expertise that we're really good at, and then obviously open it up for Q&A. So here is the US Bank Equipment Finance team. So my name is Eddie Reyes. I'm actually the business relationship manager that works very closely with the Chamber of Commerce. I've been the main point of contact for them and a lot of the members for a couple of years now. But really happy to just handle any of your inquiries just kind of going forward. I actually work with a team of industry and product experts in many different areas of banking. So today I'm actually very happy to have two partners join me from our equipment finance team. First is Denise Mann, who is our equipment finance generalist. She can pretty much finance most pieces of equipment that are essential for you to run your business. She has over 30 years of experience in this space and just a wealth of knowledge in what we can do here at US Bank. Second is Stan Krokowski. He is our manufacturing industry expert and also has 30 years of experience. If you're a manufacturer in Southern California, and I probably dare to say the West Coast, odds are you probably have worked with or met Stan before. So he's very active in that community, right? All right, so here's the meat of it. So why do 40% of equipment purchases happen in Q4, right? The first is really dependent on the annual sales of our clients. There are tax breaks for businesses that purchase equipment in the U.S. And as you're doing your tax planning for the current year, your CPA may recommend making those purchases now to maximize those tax incentives. So that's a big reason why they happen in Q4, right? A second reason, which I touched on earlier, is as businesses start thinking about 2024 and look at their capital expenditure budgets, they may look to replace or add new equipment for the upcoming year, right? So those conversations are definitely occurring now. And then really the last two are closely related. as the 2024 equipment models start coming out, clients are looking at, what purchasing decisions are going to be made, and they're making those decisions now, right? And I'll tell you, a lot of the marketing teams for these vendors, know this extremely well. So they'll offer pretty much the best competitive pricing, and provide really great incentives to close out the end of the year. So I think these are a lot of the different factors on why, a lot of the equipment happens in Q4. And I could definitely attest to that, because definitely is really our busy time of the year for us. So let me get into a little bit about Section 179. All right. So just a quick disclaimer. U.S. Bank does not provide tax advice to our customers. We highly recommend you consult your tax advisor or CPA. But I did want to take away some of the mystery of Section 179, right? A lot of folks think it's a very mysterious and complicated tax code. It does depend on your specific situation. That's why we advise you to really talk to your respective CPA or tax advisor. But basically, at high level, essentially, Section 179 allows businesses to deduct the full purchase price of equipment and vehicles during the tax year that they are bought. This means, for example, if you're buying a piece of qualifying equipment, I'm just throwing an example out there, like a Bobcat or mini excavator, and put it to use by the end of the year, you can deduct the full purchase price of that equipment today. Okay, so it's a great incentive to really purchase now, right? So again, like I mentioned, it's a huge incentive for businesses owners to buy equipment now and really invest in themselves. So this is something you definitely want to take advantage of. So I actually listed a really quick example here for you to look at, right? So when a business buys equipment, they typically get to write off a little bit of that equipment over a period of time, right? So in this example, for example, customer buys a $100,000 piece of machinery, right? And that gets written off over a 5-year period. Usually, let's just say it gets written off at $20,000 per year. And again, there's different ways to write this off. I'm just giving you a really high level example. Preferably, if you're a business and you buy that piece of equipment, you want to write off the entire equipment purchase now, right? It is really probably what your goal is when you buy it. So imagine what would happen if you can write off the entire amount, right? Instead of waiting to maybe buy equipment the next year or the following year, you're probably getting more inclined to buy it now. Okay, so there's definitely some benefits with Section 179. Really, the purpose of this is to motivate the American economy to move in the right direction, right? We want to get purchases going. We want to move things. We want to move commerce going forward, right? So again, this is really meant for awareness. It's important that at least you understand the concept of it, and this is out there. But again, I'll tell you that a lot of our clients are definitely taking advantage of this in Q4. And like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of business because of this, right? As well. So keep that in mind. Talk to your tax professional or tax advisor, and really, find out if this is something that's for you. Okay. So again, this is just again quick disclaimer. We talked about it, right? But there's some nuances with this, so I won't spend too much time on this already. But there's some things that you can't do with 179. So you can't actually create a net loss for your business income. There's some limitations on dollar amounts. Again, I won't get into the weeds here a little bit, but I did want to provide a disclaimer for you as well. So this is actually a really neat tool that I want to spend some time on, right? So at US Bank, we actually have a really neat calculator for you to look at what the net cost of a piece of equipment would be, considering Section 179 deductions and bonus depreciation, all that good stuff, right? So what we've done is we've actually included in the chat box a quick link to this, actually the actual document, not a link, but the actual document that you can use to play around with your specific situation, right? But I'll go over it really high level. So it's a really neat tool, and it looks at Section 179 and bonus depreciation for 2023. You start off at the top line, you punch in your cost of equipment, and it really just calculates it from there. It does make a couple of assumptions. It does assume that you're going to use macros as a 5-year way to depreciate your equipment, and we do have some assumptions on the tax brackets as well, right? But if you just take that example for purposes of this, the cost of equipment is close to $1.2 million. after all the Section 179 deductions, right? Considering the tax rate for the company, the effective cost of this piece of equipment is $949,000 and $344. $949,000 is the effective piece of it, is the cost of this piece of equipment. So as you can see, there's some definite savings of doing or using these advantages that the government gives us. Okay, so again, this is available for all of you guys to use. We're also gonna try to send this a different way after the call, but it's definitely on the chat box of this call, so you can definitely use that as well. Okay. And I think with that, I did want to spend a majority of this call really just hearing from some of the partners that I work with on a regular basis. Again, on some of the capabilities that we can do here at US Bank. So with that, I'm going to transfer it over to Denise, right? So Denise Mann, who is our general equipment specialist here at US Bank.
So here's why people finance equipment. A lot of times companies will ask for a down payment. For example, if you go to a dealership and you buy a vehicle, they might want you to put $5,000 or $10,000 down. We can do that all. Another thing that we can do is we can roll in other costs. For example, if you're buying a truck for your business and you want to have it wrapped with your logo, you can add that as part of the financing cost. If you want to add racks or other types of tools to a truck, that can all be included in one equipment finance. We structure your financing to meet your needs. For example, you can choose your own term. We start out at 12 months. Our maximum term is 84. So whatever your budget can kind of fit in there, we're willing to work with you. We also have options to upgrade equipment to stay a step ahead. For example, if you're buying IT equipment today and in 2 years down the road, that equipment becomes obsolete and you need to upgrade it, we do what's called trade up payoff. So we would actually take the loan and we would come up with a trade up payoff and apply that towards the new equipment so it doesn't hurt you from a financial standpoint. We have very quick approvals, generally 4 hours or less. Sometimes I get an approval in an hour. We have minimum documentation needed, and in today's world, we do electric docks. So I finance a lot of equipment for people who never have to leave their office, and they can do a finance deal right from their desk or their phone. This is some of our general financing criteria. I do deals from 10,000 to 1 million. We have a simple application process. For most industries, we go up to $200,000 with no financials. So that's a really big plus in today's world. We also allow up to 125% financing to include soft costs. And when we talk about soft costs, we're talking about installation, training, plumbing, stuff that needs to be done to maybe install the equipment. We also offer pre-approvals. So if you're thinking about today that you might want to buy a piece of equipment in January, you might want to apply now because our approvals are good for 90 days and rates are also locked for that approval time. So if you apply now today, the rate will stay in place for up to 90 days. We also only secure our equipment by the equipment only. As some of you probably have learned during the PPP loans, when we finance a piece of equipment, we only file a UCC on that specific piece of equipment. We do not file on your business. So I'm sure some of you guys become shocked when you go to buy equipment and you find out that another lender out there filed a UCC against your entire business, and that really takes away your buying power. So that's one of the pluses for purchasing through us. We also finance new and used equipment. And in today's world, a lot of people want to buy, say, vehicles from another private party that's selling a truck or they're getting out of business. So we offer used private party sellers. We can include multiple pieces of equipment on one transaction. So if you want to use 7 or 8 different vendors because you're buying a variety of different items, we can roll all those into just one loan. We also offer flexible payment options and seasonal payments. Give a quick example. I financed a very large floral shop in Los Angeles, and they told me that they get 90% of their revenue on one day during the year, and that was Valentine's Day. And so we set them up. They bought some equipment, and we made it so that they only had to make one payment a year, and it was dated right around Valentine's Day. So it was really helpful for the customer. They didn't have to worry all year about making a payment when their business was very slow. One thing that we do require is you have to be in business at least 2 years. And like I said, back to the turnaround times, usually within 24 hours. But I see approvals come a lot quicker than that. We just kind of put that out there as a standard. Here's just something that you might think of when it comes to general equipment. I mean, we do 500 plus pieces of different types of equipment. We do everything from construction, material handling, IT projects. We can finance an entire software upgrade, and we can include the training and the installation, the consulting, everything that needs to be done. We do a lot of logistical equipment, a lot of trucks, vans, cars. One of the big thing that I see across my desk these days are a lot of used pickup trucks, Dodge Rams, GMCs, because we don't have an age limit. So that's something that is really well done. We do medical imaging, diagnostic, ambulances. We do restaurant equipment, among many, many, many other things. Anything that you see as you're sitting around, even looking in your office, we do computers, we do desks, we do tables, we do chairs, we do racks in warehouses. I mean, you just might not even think that something might be equipment. And these, again, back to the vehicles, we don't have any mileage or age restriction on most vehicles. So if you're a painting company or a plumbing company and you want to buy your guys a couple of 2017 or 18 trucks, that's right up our alley. That's exactly what we do. We finance new, and we finance automobiles as long as they're for business use. So for a doctor or a lawyer or a CPA, somebody that wants to purchase a car and their business use is driving back and forth to the office, we can make that justifiable. So we always ask, why does the business need a vehicle? And then at this point, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to introduce Stan Kriskowski. Stan and I have worked together for many, many, many years, and he is an expert in the manufacturing space, and you probably have heard his name before. So I'll let you take it, Stan.
Thanks, Denise. Good morning. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here today. As Denise mentioned, I work with U.S. Bank's manufacturing group. We're an industry leader in financing manufacturing equipment. We've been a consistent funding source for manufacturers nationwide for over 40 years. One of the benefits of working with our team is we have a one-page credit application program, no financial statements required for transactions up to $750,000, which is one of the highest application-only programs in the industry, meaning you simply complete a one-page credit application, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. You email that back to us with a copy of the equipment quotes that you're interested in buying, and we have an answer in 24 hours or less. It's quick, it's easy, it's very competitive. Some of the other program highlights include 100% financing, including soft cost, as Denise mentioned, sales tax, freight, training, etc., for both new and used equipment with terms up to 84 months. In addition, we offer a full range of products, including loans, leases, both capital and operating leases, fair market value leases with early buyouts, refinancing of existing equipment debt, rental programs, and equipment acquisition lines of credit. We also offer deferred payment programs. So if you want 90, 120 days for your first payment, as well as progress payment programs, as well as electronic documents. As Denise mentioned, our documents are very simple and user-friendly, and we only take a lien on the equipment we're financing. Also, we can process transactions larger than $750,000 with a standard financial package. This is a list of some of the equipment types we finance within the manufacturing group, which includes metal cutting equipment such as machine tools, metal fabrication, plastics and packaging, woodworking equipment, printed circuit board, stone fabrication, corrugated box, robotics and automation, inspection equipment, 3D printers, as well as any other support equipment manufacturers need to operate their business. Some of the industries that our customers serve are aerospace, military defense, semiconductor, medical, electronics, automotive, and industrial and commercial applications. We're still processing business for 2023 as Eddie mentioned, as well as working on new transactions for 2024. So if you have an equipment financing opportunity to discuss, please don't hesitate to reach out to Eddie or one of us on the team to discuss your financing project. We would really appreciate it. Looks like a wrap. Are there any questions for us?
And actually, there was a preset question that I did want to ask on behalf of one of the chamber members. So one of the questions was if they were to purchase a piece of equipment, cash, right? What does that process look like with respect to reimbursing or how would that, or us financing that, right? So if they were to purchase a piece of equipment that they found a good opportunity, they paid cash for it, then what are the steps that would be required for us to finance that?
For my group, we would have to have a paper trail. Generally, we will reimburse people from 30 to 45 days of purchase. If they wrote a check or wired the money, we would ask to see a copy of the cleared check, credit card statement, wire transfer, etc. And we would just do the deal basically like any other deal. We would set it up and then we would reimburse the customer by giving them the funds back once we had all the paper trail cleared.
For my group, Eddie, we would have a similar approach. Our timeline for reimbursement is generally 5 to 6 months. So we can look back and reimburse a client up to 5 or 6 months. We would also require proof of payment. And if the customer already took delivery of it and paid for it, we'd want to do a UCC search to make sure the equipment is free and clear of any liens. Many times a customer might have a blanket lien by their bank, which might encumber the new asset, but we would just get a subordination from their bank, which is typical, and we would reimburse the customer for the 100% of the proceeds.
Perfect, thank you.
This is a good time if anyone does have questions to ask them. And we have all the specialists here with us today. And I really think what US Bank is doing is really amazing. You don't really have, I took down a couple of notes like trade up and payoff. That's amazing. Quick approval, unheard of. Minimum documents necessary, especially doing everything electronic, is really beneficial for a lot of business owners, especially when they barely have enough time to just cover their hours at the office or the business. Private party sellers and how you can group that together into one loan. These are amazing programs that US Bank has to offer, and I'm glad we're having this discussion. We have a question. Do you have a product we can offer to our customers seeking construction material financing?
I will answer from my perspective. My group, we cannot finance inventory, unfortunately. I don't know if there's somebody within the bank that does inventory financing. Eddie, you might know that answer. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it's definitely worth the conversation. My information's there. More than happy to just take that question offline and talk about your specific situation and how US Bank could help. right? And by all means, if some of that, if you need equipment as part of that transaction, our team could definitely help with that as well.
There's another question. Could you give another example with numbers of how the 179 works and cash advantages?
Yeah, so this is really meant for that exact question, right? So as you have live examples, and again they're on the chat there. Yeah, the calculator is a really neat tool because it really allows you to just look at your specific example on the piece of equipment you're looking to purchase, right? So as you enter the information in here, it'll basically give you the effective cost of the equipment. And it keeps into account the Section 179 deduction and bonus depreciation. And like I said, it does make some assumptions as well on here, but this is the tool we could definitely use as we have conversations. And this is something that we could definitely use with either Denise, myself, as we get together and figure out what your goals are and your plans are on this, right? But yeah, this is something that a great tool to basically use.
Can a potential manufacturer refinance his hard money equipment loan?
Yeah, I'll take that call. Yeah, so if a customer has existing equipment loans, we can refinance, consolidate the loans, the balances, and extend the term out to a longer term, let's say 5 or 6 years. So we can do that. The only thing we don't offer is working capital or cash out of the loan. So if the balance on the 5 loans is $350,000, we can make the loan for $350,000 and pay off the existing loan contracts balances. However, we would not be able to give cash out in a situation like that. You would have to go to the bank, talk to Eddie about a line of credit for the working capital needs.
Alrighty, another question. Do you have to MBDW certified? Does US Bank assist in getting certification? Does US Bank offer, I guess, I don't know how you could finance a certification since it's not tangible. It's not equipment. So I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I could not do that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be, but that'd be some type of term facility, possibly a conversation worth having. Yeah. Term loan.
All right. The next question. Where can we get an application or checklist of documents required, needed to start the process, and who do we contact?
I mean, we can give Eddie the applications and he can definitely email you one at any time. But I cover the whole Los Angeles area. And if you guys want to write down my cell phone number, you are welcome to have it. And I am open to take a call from you at any time or an email. My direct number is 503-894-0099. And my email address is Denise, DENISE .mann, MANN, at usbank.com. And if you're interested in applying, shoot me an email and I will help you through the steps. Very simple.
All right. I did put your information as you were dictating on the chat. So your cell number is 503-894-0099. And your email address is Denise, DENISE .MANN at usbank.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a client seeking financing. He builds and sells food trucks and concession stands. He needs to buy equipment for each truck, like a refrigerator, 2 burners, triple sinks, freezers, grills, open burners, etc. Can you finance these equipments using 179?
Yes, you can. We would have to finance them, in the customer's name. But yes, I do food trucks. We don't do new food truck ventures. They have to be an established food truck business. But yes, I do finance all that stuff.
Yeah, because they have to be in business for a minimum of 2 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Alrighty, and then the next question. Isn't the deduction over $1 million? Anything less will not work.
There's a cap on it. And again, I definitely recommend you just go back to your CPA or tax advisor to get your specific situation, and they can go over some examples for you as well, and which is great. So, yep.
Alrighty. And then we were asked if we could mail the template, and the answer is yes. Next question, does the client need to have certificate of insurance before or after the loan is processed?
In my world, yes, they do. We don't have to have it at the time of funding, but we require it at least 30 days after the time of funding. We need to be added on to their existing business policy.
And that's consistent with the manufacturing group as well, Olivia.
Alrighty, thank you. Next question, for section 179, does it apply to all business entities, corporations, sole proprietor, partnership, etc.?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Mhm.
Someone wrote, all equipment for the truck can be used in section 179. All right, thank you, thank you. I would like to know if this applies to US residents, the finance equipment. So do you have to be a US citizen to apply or qualify for this type of loan?
Generally, I would say yes, but we also accept work visas. But if the
Mhm.
work visa is only for 3 years, then the loan on our, or the term on our loan would match that 3 years.
What about residents?
Yeah, we want our residents to be involved and at the business.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the other question I was asked prior to the call, Olivia, was just that we can just comment around just the FICO scores and just minimum requirements around that. So maybe Denise, if you could just kind of just touch just briefly on that, just high level, that'd be awesome.
Our minimum FICO score is 675. However, we look at a lot of different factors. We look at the FICO scores. We look at time in business. We look at business credit through Dun & Bradstreet. So it's not solely just based on your FICO score. If your FICO score is lower, but you've been in business for 10 years, then that makes a difference.
Mhm.
Got it.
I don't
Awesome.
think there's any other questions. This is your last opportunity to ask a specialist. I think on that note, well, I think we could wrap it up. It is 10:40, so I want to thank everyone for their time. You do have Eddie's email that was sent out on the invitation. If you need any more contact information, you can write to us at olivia@lalcc.org, and I can direct your inquiry to either David, to Eddie, Denise, excuse me, or Stan. So, anything else, gentlemen, and Denise?
No, I wanted to say thank you for having me today. It was my pleasure. And if there's anything I can do for any of the businesses in Los Angeles, I am ready and willing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for the time today. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. Thanks so much.
We really appreciate the partnership with US Bank. And we're grateful for the help in helping our businesses get established, getting equipment financed. As you could see, there is advantages to buying something soon. So we want to thank everyone for being with us this morning. Thank you on behalf of the LA Latino Chamber, our board, our corporate advisory board members, and our members themselves. So happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.